Okay, ladies, listen up. I need you to stop speaking to men who can't plan dates. Why? Because planning dates is the bare minimum requirement from a man to show you that he can confidently lead, show you that he has those masculine qualities that you want in a man. Okay? So if you're speaking to a man right now and he can't do something as basic and as simple as planning a date, there is a problem there.
Why on earth should men be out here planning dates and taking women on dates who are this damn entitled and arrogant? I would argue, guys, that the men don't have a problem. It is women who have a problem. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again, and we are once again going to be kicking it off with a clip from this woman right here, who I suppose functions as some sort of dating coach for women. And so she comes on here, she makes these videos about what women deserve. And on today's episode, we're going to be kicking it off with one here who, you know, she's basically complaining that dudes are not leading dates anymore, right? We're not being chivalrous, we're not planning the dates, we're not taking women out on dates, and of course this is a problem. Now, I don't think this is a problem for men. I think that this is truthfully a problem for women. So let's jump in, guys. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments, and we will also continue into a few more clips here today.
Ladies, listen up. I need you to stop speaking to men who can't plan dates. Why? Because planning dates is the bare minimum requirement from a man.
Okay, so I see a lot of videos where we talk about the requirements from men. You know, men have to do this, they have to do this. Why? Because it's the bare minimum. Do we ever talk about the bare minimum from a woman? How about don't post half unclothed pictures of yourself on Instagram? Right? How about I start saying that this is the bare minimum, but I'll say this and people will just lose their marbles over it. How dare you? You don't like women, and so on. Again, guys, women are allowed to have their bare minimum and their standards and their requirements from men, which, hey, may or may not actually be sensible, despite the fact that they do the complete opposite anyway. But the moment men say, well, what are the bare minimum requirements from women? Then we get shamed and we get insulted.
To show you that he can confidently lead, show you that he has those masculine qualities that you want in a man. Okay? So if you're speaking to a man right now and he can't do something as basic and as simple as planning a date, there is a problem there.
Just by the way, oftentimes modern women don't make it simple or easy or straightforward to plan a date. You know, some of them, guys, you know, they have the requirements of where to go for the date. And then if you don't consult them, then it's an issue, right? So you choose the place, well, then you're ignoring her input. You get her input, then you're not leading. It's like dudes would rather just not have the headache, man. You know, like she says it's simple and it's straightforward. Number one, a lot of women will just screw around guys, waste their time, say that they're interested in dates and then never show up. That's first of all. Number two, most guys can't get a date anyway. Number three, even if you do go ahead and plan all this stuff for a woman who probably doesn't deserve it, a lot of them are still headaches about it anyway, no matter which way you approach it, unless you're highly attractive to the woman. You know, and then they wonder why dudes don't date them.
Do something as basic and as simple as planning a date, there is a problem there. There is a problem, and you need to stop speaking to men like this. You are wasting your time speaking to men like this. You want to be with the guy who's literally like, okay, I made reservations, I'll pick you up at 7, wear something nice, and let's have fun, right?
Just by the way, who do women actually date? Okay, so that the funny thing is, they say that they want this from a guy, okay? But here's the thing. If the guy is not attractive enough to her, this is just going to come across as creepy. She'll never show up. You've made reservations for no reason, and she'll just move on. Now, the guy who's highly attractive to her, he doesn't even have to do any of this stuff. I guarantee you, women who make videos like this and who are like, yeah, men need to do the bare minimum, they need to make reservations, tell me to wear something nice, blah, blah, blah. They have hooked up and been with so many dudes that didn't have to lift a damn finger. And yet we're expected to take them out on dates, romance them, be assertive, do all the planning, pay for the date, obviously, because if we don't pay for the date, then we're not a real man, apparently. Okay, and so on and so forth. But these women have given their bodies and themselves to people who never had to lift a damn finger, and we're out here being required to make reservations. Completely stupid. Again, the behaviors, it's funny because people will say like, oh, you have to act this way, you have to do this, your behaviors need to be on point, man. But here's the thing, you can have a dude who's highly attractive, he can be a complete clown, and she'll still hook up with him. She'll still paint him out to be a fantastic man. You know, he didn't take her out on a date, he didn't do absolutely anything. Oh, well, you know, he's just dark and mysterious. Like, all right.
Pick you up at 7, wear something nice, and let's have fun, right? That's the kind of guy you want. As a woman, you should not be in your masculine energy trying to do logistics and planning things and booking things.
Yeah, so I love how women pull this masculine and feminine argument out, by the way. Like, these women are incredibly masculine, and they're like, and then they want to sit here making a video talking about how men need to be masculine for them. Like, these women are so out of touch with reality, man. They're so out of touch. I want to be in my feminine energy, she says, screaming and whining on TikTok, giving dating advice that's completely backwards. Let's jump into the next one here, man. Okay, so this is a clip that is talking about how visual men are. So this is a woman who's going to be upset that men, you know, we're visual creatures. Now, before we jump into this, I have said this before. A lot of guys don't need you to be, you know, a model or something like this. They don't need you to be incredibly low body fat percentage, high cheekbones, you know, all of this kind of crap. They don't. Dudes will sacrifice points of attractiveness for someone who's actually just pleasant and a nice human being. But women just don't understand this. They go out here, they get augmentations, they put 37 pounds of makeup on their face, and they're like, this is what men want, right? Yeah, the dudes will hook up with you, but you won't get anything from them. Let's jump into this clip here.
Right, men are so visual because so many men date based on this like physical appearance.
I have heard people say this before, men are so visual, and I never like really knew what they meant by it until this video. She's saying like a lot of men will choose who they date primarily based off of physical attraction and like what they want their girlfriend to look like.
So let me just pause it here. You're half right, half wrong here. Here's the thing. Again, women you don't have to be some supermodel. Okay, you really don't. This is an idea that women have in their heads. Dudes are not out here requiring women to get augments and to put on all of this makeup in order to date the dude. They're not out here requiring this stuff. Now, dudes who are going out there just hooking up with women, obviously they're going to go for the attractive ones, especially if they have options, right? They're going to go for the most attractive one that they possibly can. And that's that. And that's all these women see, by the way, is because they see who the top percentage of dudes are hooking up with. And they're like, wait, he's not hooking up with me. That means that, you know, men are just visual and they're only in it for how pretty I look. And they're completely out of touch with reality. They have no idea. Men will quite literally sacrifice points of attractiveness in a woman for a woman who is actually kind, pleasant to be around, hasn't been with a whole bunch of dudes, things like this. You know, they don't give a damn as much as women think. Now, obviously, don't be overweight and eating a whole bunch of McDonald's. That goes without saying. But you don't need to be on the front cover of magazines, you know?
Because men are so visual. And I was like, oh, you mean shallow, superficial. But we don't call men that.
Yes, we do. We call them all sorts of names. You know, dogs, we say that they're only interested in one thing, and so on and so forth. We have a lot of insults, a lot of colorful ones for men these days. And you know, women, they throw these out ad nauseum, to be honest with you. You know, like they really do. You don't want to date me because of X reason. Oh, she'll throw out all of the shaming language.
People are saying men are so visual in contexts where if it was a woman, they would say women are so shallow or women are so superficial. Or, you know, they're conceited, stuck up bitch horse who actually, I don't think you're that hot anyway.
You know what the difference is, just by the way, in terms of men and women? in this regard. Men and women have very different thresholds for what they find attractive. Again, I would say go out there, get a very attractive guy, and look at his, for example, his swiping statistics on dating applications, who the people that he's interested in are. There will be a whole bunch of women that a dude is interested in. You look at an average woman, you watch an average woman swipe on any sort of dating application or whatever, she will only be interested in a fraction, a small fraction of the dudes on those applications. Okay, there are very, very different thresholds. Men are not requiring you to be a supermodel. They really do not. Like, women like to pretend like the barrier is super damn high, and the reason why they think it's super damn high is because the men that they want aren't dating them. That's really what it boils down to. Any behavior of the average man just goes to fairyland, guys. It doesn't exist. The way the average men behave might as well just be something that's not based in reality, because these women just do not ever see it. They're just like, wow, this top percentage guy who's hooking up with a bunch of women, he's hooking up with attractive ones only, right? He's only quote unquote dating the attractive ones. It's like, yeah, this dude has a bunch of options. He's obviously not looking for anything long term. Makes sense, you know?
Men just get to be visual, so value neutral. It sounds like an innate, unchangeable physical characteristic. I have never heard women described as visual, although I have certainly heard them described as shallow and superficial. And
just by the way, the reason why nobody describes women as visual is because, number one, you get insulted for doing this, for insinuating that women are attracted to men physically. And number two, women lie incessantly about this. You ask the average woman what she's attracted to on the street, she'll just talk to you about, oh, she wants a nice man, she wants a good man, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, I get on here and I say that women are physically attracted to dudes. Very top percentage guys. You know, I make comments about this all of the damn time. But I think a lot of people don't really know this because they listen to the garbage that women tell them. Women are actively advocating that they don't care about visuals whatsoever, despite the fact that they do. That's not me doing that. That's not men doing that. That's women. Whenever you ask a woman, especially if you have a camera pointed at her face or she's in any sort of public situation, they will lie through their teeth and say that physical attraction really isn't that important to them. You know, there's a lot of ones that are becoming more brave these days, you know, the screaming ones that you see saying that height is important, things like that. But that's about it.
And it means the exact fucking same thing. And this is absolutely not a criticism of this creator. I really appreciate that I finally understand what people have meant all this time. But we should not permit this anymore. Men are visual. That is deleted. When a man says men are visual creatures, like, you have to substitute that with shallow and superficial. Or wait, is that not what you wanted to say about yourself? Then I guess you just gotta scrap this justification, come up with something else.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm pausing it here. The last 20 seconds of what she just said, I completely zoned out. I have no idea what she said. And to be honest, I can't be bothered rewinding it to take a look. So let's continue into the next clip here. This is essentially a woman trying to attack. Guys, as we go through these clips, I can't imagine why men don't want to date women, by the way. Why aren't men planning the dates? I have no idea. It's a complete mystery to me, guys. I'm just mystified by the whole thing. So this next clip here, this is from a Lock the Bounty Hunter video, guys, and it is absolutely hilarious. So this is basically a woman going on about how dudes are unaware and incompetent, right? And obviously she's single. Wonder why that might be the case. Let's jump into it.
I had a guy tell me that he absolutely hates being asked or told to do something by a woman, a girl that he's dating. And that's fine if, like, you're a self-starter who doesn't need to be told what to do. So I asked him, like, well, do you just, like, get things done yourself? Are you a self-starter? And he was like, yeah. I was like, you're someone, like, if you were to hear a problem, like, you would get up and fix it without having to be told. And he was like, yeah. Well, when we showed up to the restaurant, this was with a group of friends, not a date, we didn't have a reservation, and he talked to the host. I was like, well, we'd like to put our names down, and he was like, no, just we'll sit by the bar and come get us when a table's ready. And the hostess was like, okay, I'll come get you when the table's ready.
Notice how she immediately, so first of all, she immediately takes charge of the situation. Okay, the waiter's there or whatever the hell. Again, it's hard to listen to these women, right? So the dude and her rock up here, and then she immediately takes charge, right? So we're obviously butthurt over here that men don't want to be instructed by you and told what to do. But what is the first thing that these women do? They try and take charge of the situation. They try and control the situation. So let me get this straight. You know, men are required to lead, essentially, right? We want a masculine man who leads and makes decisions by himself and gets things done. But at the first junction of a decision, you have to step in and make the decision. Like, shut the hell up. You don't want to be led. Oh, I want a man to lead me. And yet their actions are the complete opposite, man. Complete and utter opposite. And just by the way, women think that men need to be told to do things, but a lot of the times they simply don't, because what they're telling the dude is completely irrelevant. You know, like completely irrelevant. They'll start bossing you around and telling you to do things that are like completely just not even necessary. And then they're like, you know, see, he wouldn't have done it anyway. Yeah, probably not, because what you're trying to get him to do is stupid.
Sit by the bar and come get us when a table's ready, and the hostess was like, okay, I'll come get you when the table's ready. So the group of 5 of us awkwardly were hanging out by the bar.
Day and night she talks, each word more useless than the next.
Hey lady, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that that guy was probably saying something with a little bit more nuance. Men don't mind being told what to do every once in a while, so long as it's done in a respectful manner, but we don't see that with modern women.
Yeah, none of it is respectful, man. Absolutely none of it. Right? They'll tell you what to do. Oh, you need to do this. You need to do that. But it's not. It's just done in a domineering way that is just completely a waste of everybody's time. She's essentially just trying to cause a headache and trying to tell you things that just either don't need to be done, or she's just being super disrespectful about it.
Responded to your stupid question.
Ridiculous.
Want to fit only never win at the game instead.
4 tables. So I went by, and the restaurant isn't packed at all. There's plenty of open tables. So I turn to him and I say, wow, I wonder if the hostess forgot about us. And he went, I wonder if she did. It's been a while. And I waited 5 minutes to see if this man was a self-starter. He wasn't. Eventually, I turned to him and said, well, you're the one who spoke to her, so I think you need to get up and remind her that we are still here.
Yeah, see, this is why. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is why nobody wants to listen to these women. Nobody wants to date these women. Is the dude's probably chilling. You know, he's relaxing. You guys are hanging out by the bar. What's the big deal? You have to wait a few minutes. You know, the dude was probably going to go over at some point. Maybe she's busy. You know, it's really not that big of a deal. But these women just have to turn everything into a headache, and then they wonder why dudes don't want to be with them. Can you imagine this, right? The dude was like, yeah, I don't really appreciate being bossed around by a woman, being told what to do all the time, things like this. And then, you know, instantly, when they go out to this event, number one, this woman's trying to take charge. And number two, her eyes are so crazy, by the way. And number two, at again, the next junction of a decision, she just immediately tries to get him to do something. Like, shut up, man. Shut up.
That's right. I had to tell him what to do. And he
No, you didn't.
He did, and she did forget about us. There was a table ready, so she immediately sat us, and I just pointed it out to him gently. I said, remember our conversation like 45 minutes ago? And I don't think that you are a self-starter, because I pointed out that I'm pretty sure that the hostess forgot about us, and you didn't get up to talk to her. I had to tell you to get up to talk to her.
Yeah, see, this is the point, by the way. I would have just left, to be honest with you. I would have absolutely left. This woman is horrible to be around. Absolutely horrible. I have no idea why the hell men would date them in the first place. I have not a clue. This is exactly why, you know, women are having such a problem with modern dating, and they can't get these sorts of behaviors that they want out of men. Number one, the men that they choose would never give these behaviors anyway. But number two, even the average guy will just be exhausted by you. This behavior is disgusting, guys. It is so narcissistic. It is so entitled. It is so arrogant, and it is completely insufferable. You know, like, who does this woman think that she is? Like, is she your boss or something? Is she like your mother when you're a child or something, trying to instruct you. Like, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. These people, they act like HR positions in a social setting, and then they wonder why dudes don't want them.
And he was like, yeah, I didn't like that.
I am Jack's complete lack of surprise.
I find it hard to believe that you were gentle with this whole thing when we consider you were at a restaurant and hell hath no fury like a modern woman with an empty belly. This whole test of yours just reeks of pettiness. At any point, once you noticed that there were empty tables, you could have gotten up and just checked with the hostess yourself. That wouldn't have been that big of a deal. This man did his end by solving the problem, and you could have shown some support to him and your friends by actually taking some initiative, but you didn't do it. He didn't like what you were doing because you insulted him. There's a time and a place for these discussions, and public in front of his friends is neither one, sister.
Just by the way, this is like a few minutes of inconvenience, and this woman just loses her marbles and tries to like get him on a gotcha moment kind of thing. Imagine having a relationship with this woman, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just simply can't do it. They're completely insufferable. Everything you do will be a complete and utter issue, and it's just ridiculous. Like, you know, the waiter would probably realize at some point, and it wouldn't even take that damn long. Like, but they just lose it, guys. They just can't handle it. They just can't handle things not going their way for like 2 seconds before they need to boss somebody around or tell somebody what to do or lead a situation. Like, just relax, woman. These women are so ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Again, guys, I would have got up and left. I can't tolerate people like this. You know, as I get older, man, I have less and less patience for people like this. In fact, I have absolutely none. I can bear listening to these people on TikTok, right? And even then, it's a complete headache to me. But trying to deal with these people in real life, no thank you. Absolutely not. I don't know how dudes are doing it.
Were sitting happily at the bar. There were so many times where he heard an issue and he could have been like, I'm gonna check on that reservation, but he didn't. It's like a certain mixture of just like bad ingredients when a man isn't a self-starter, hears problems and doesn't get up and fix them himself, and on top of that he hates being asked or told what to do. It's like, damn, I hope you find someone who really, really caters to you and expects very little.
Just by the way, nobody wants you, madam. Any dude who has any level of self-respect, he doesn't want to be with you. If your case is like, well, you're never going to find anybody, yeah, you're damn sure I hope I never find anybody, especially like you. I think a lot of guys would rather be by themselves completely. Like, this is not even a question. You're like, well, a woman's going to have to put up with the bare minimum. Do you ever think that there might be women out there, by the way, who can actually tolerate a couple of minutes of inconvenience? Do you ever think about that? You know, do you ever think about the fact that there's women out there who don't need to instantly take control of the situation? Again, guys, I want to really make you guys understand that this was over from the beginning. Like, as soon as they walk up to this restaurant and the woman tries to take charge and do all of the things, like, you already know it's just completely over. You know, she's not feminine whatsoever. She has to be in charge of things. She has to control things. She has to cause an issue out of everything. It was never going to be pleasant. I guarantee you, this guy could have led this perfectly and she still would have had issues with it. She still would have had issues.
I hope you find someone who really, really caters to you and expects very little.
Smelly fish. And it's not a cod.
I think we can all agree that modern women have turned the fine art of problem solving into an infinite minefield of pure hell. Any single one of you at any point could have walked up to the hostess and asked what was going on, but you decided to thrust that on the man and then blame him when he doesn't solve the problem fast enough. Now, from the man's perspective, you made him feel like he did something unforgivably wrong when you were the one who put the name in the book, and you should have been the one to go up to check on your reservation. Now, let's go ahead and pretend that this scenario happened exactly as you said it, which we all know is a lie. You rubbed the salt in this guy's wounds by having to talk to him right away about this stuff instead of waiting for an appropriate time away from everybody. This wasn't about him being a problem solver so much as you just wanted to shame him. You could have waited until the night was over to talk to him afterwards, but you didn't want to do that. You wanted to be right away.
Just by the way, I don't even think she didn't even need to have a discussion about this to begin with. Like, to me, this is not a huge deal whatsoever. And the fact that she feels the need to come out and like check this guy and be like, haha, here's like a gotcha moment at all. I don't care if it's after, I don't care if it's before, like, you know, it doesn't even matter. The fact is she's doing it and she's just annoying as hell. So many of these women who complain about, you know, they complain about the behavior of men and how terrible men are and things like this. It's like, no dude wants to date them anyway. You know, like, you would have a hard time convincing a self-respecting man to put up with the behavior in the first place. You know, as soon as she starts trying to control the situation, as soon as she starts trying to be annoying in this particular way, dudes are just going to be like, oh hell no, I don't want anything to do with this.
Guys, tell me why I was crying last night. I was crying at the bar, tears rolling down my face, and I don't really sit well with sadness, but I sit fucking good with madness, and I was pissed off at this man. Let me tell you what happened.
This woman's a psycho. Before she even gets into the story, probably not any of it is true. We'll just run with it and just assume what she says is true, but it's probably not true. You gotta love when a woman opens up a story, by the way, telling you about how much she was crying and how many tears she had running down her face. Really sets a good scene. Paint yourself out to be a victim and then tell a heavily biased story. We're on track, aren't we?
Also, if you saw me last night crying, like, no. I'm gonna chalk that up to AI. It wasn't me. Thank you. This f***ing loser weird freak. Let's call him Freak of the Week, #1. This weird freak, I've hooked up with him before. Apparently he's going around like showing like his guy friends and my friends like private texts between us, which can never be good. No, fuck.
Just by the way, women do this all of the damn time. I don't know what she's losing her marbles over. And if he's such a freak, if he's such a terrible man, why are you hooking up with him in the first place? I see a lot of women, they're like, yeah, this man's awful, he's terrible, he did all of these things, blah, 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 terrible man. And she'll make up a whole bunch of things about him that may or may not be true, right? And then my question is like, okay, if he's so terrible, why are we hooking up with him then? Oh, but I didn't know he was so terrible. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have hooked up with him instantly then. That would also be a good move. You know, if you don't know who the man actually is, maybe you shouldn't be giving him access to your body. But hey, genius moves modern women are making.
I have a text between us, which can never be good. No, fuck.
And
Oh, the reason why you were crying is simple, lady. You were 9 cocktails into an 8-year-long bender. It's bound to happen. Especially in your case. You decided to bump the proverbial uglies with Chad, and he in return wasn't taking you seriously and decided to show your text messages to all of his buddies just to show them how much strange he was scoring. Because that's the thing about text messages, sweetheart. You have zero control over how they're shared, and come on, let's just be real here. Your TikTok commentary is pretty much 99% about your text exchanges with Chad, Tyrone, Marco, Raphael, Chang, Wang, Takeda, and Buck. But when you do it, it's because you're such a victim of horrible circumstances, but when they do it, they somehow violated your privacy, but
yeah, that's the first comment I made, is women will do this stuff. You know, they will do this all the damn time. They'll share text messages. Hell, they'll make public social media posts talking about the specific men that they are dating and hooking up with. But yet they get offended when the dudes share their messages. It's completely ridiculous. But guys, we are going to be calling today's episode there. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.